pretty much the outline how it's gonna go. I brought the wrong book though. Damn. I hate when I do that shit.
NightOutHipHop.com.
Yeah. Holy smokes, I'm no joke out the bullpen. Bringing nothing but heat, leave you hanging like clothespins. He's a beast when he goes in, ice cold frozen. The first round draft pick, #1 chosen. Drop bombs, explosion, self-promotion. And I keep shit moving like a flanker in motion.
What's up? What's up? Back by popular demand. After the Buzzer Show with Lee Jones, I got my guy Real Leel back in the house. What's happening, Leel?
What's up, man? I'm ready for this show. Obviously, my Knicks 1 game away, so I'm representing New York in the building. It's all good, baby. We out here, man. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Look, guys, we got a great show today. Look, my native New Yorker, the Real Leel, he's excited. But we gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the Eastern Conference and the Knicks versus the Cavs game 3. We want to jump into that, and I'm going to get Leo's opinions about game 3. He'll get mine as well. We're also going to talk about the second question I'm going to ask off of that Eastern Conference Finals is, are the New York Knicks historically this good, or are they benefiting from a weak Eastern Conference? I definitely want to get your opinions about that. And we're also going to jump over to the Western Conference, talk about the Spurs and the Thunder. What's really going on in that series. We'll look back at game 3, talk about game 4 tonight and where we think the series is going to go and going to end. Want to ask the question to you, Lil. Is SGA getting a friendly whistle? A lot of talk is online about that. People are talking about that. Is he getting a friendly whistle? I got my thoughts. I want to get yours. And then the final topic we want to throw out there is the Giants quarterback, New York Giants quarterback Jackson Dart, over the weekend introduced President Trump at one of his rallies. Abdul Carter, first round draft pick last year as well, took offense to that, made some comments. I'm going to play that video. I'm going to show the tweet that Abdul Carter had, and then Lil, I want to get your opinion. You're from New York as well. I'm definitely want to get it out to you and your fans and see what's going on. So it's a great show, jam-packed show as always, guys. Please like, subscribe to the show. Hit us up. We definitely want your comments because this is going to be a fire show. Let's go, Lil. Let's jump right into it.
Is your Facebook live? You got Facebook on here, YouTube on here? Because I'm only seeing my
Facebook. All of it. All right,
perfect. I want everybody to listen to the show because it's going to be a good one.
Look, he's pumped because the Knicks have not been to the final since they went in 84. They hadn't won since 1972. So he's pumped. So we're going to jump right into it. Game 3 last night, Lil. Just the Knicks continue to do what the Knicks do. I'm going to throw it out to you. What were your thoughts about the game last night? Do you think it's going to be a sweep? And if the Knicks sweep the Cavs, what does it say about you? The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, definitely. I really wanted to bring my broom with me on the show. I might ask my niece to bring it down. I might give her a text to bring down the broom. All right. Because guess what? We're going to be sweeping. We're going to be doing more sweeping than a minimum wage worker. Okay. At a restaurant. I mean, look, the reality is, and I just want to big up my Knicks, man. It's been some hard times, man. It's been some hard times, and only the real ones can relate. Only the Knicks fans can relate to the pain. People see us from outside and they look at us like we these idiots, like look at these guys climbing on, traffic lights and acting up and, teabagging alumni that play for our team. I mean, listen, it's pain. What you're seeing is pain. And to have this moment cannot be underestimated. I'm on cloud 9. But if we get to the game, and I want to talk about these games because in game 2, I thought the Cavaliers, they won the majority of the battles, right? They won the free throw battle 32-14. They won the rebounding battle 42-13, and yet we still won the game. Yet Josh Hart, they left them so wide open, and Josh Hart made them pay. And in this game, we dominated Cleveland in the transition points. We had a lot of transition points. I believe it was 30-10. And when you're not able to get out in transition, when you do get out in transition, if you're the Knicks, it leads to open shots. The Cavaliers can't set up their defense, and they wasn't able to do so. So to me, if I had to give a biggest takeaway, Lee, my biggest takeaway is that the Cavaliers need more from Donovan Mitchell and their outside shooting. Their outside shooting if they want to win. They need more from Sam Merrill. They need more from Dean Wade. And when you look at the matchup, I thought Jalen Brunson, of course, he always outperforms Donovan Mitchell on the big stage. 3 postseason matchups between the two guys, and Jalen Brunson has outperformed him in all 3 matchups. And it's funny because they're like the same guy. They both undersized. They both can't defend at an elite level. But the little things is what separates them. The little things is why Jalen Brunson is a better overall player than Donovan Mitchell with his relentless attack in the mid-range game, setting up his teammates. He had 14 assists in game 2. He made it do what it do. And in this game 3, Donovan Mitchell had 5 turnovers in the game. Mobley has been dominant. Jared Allen, 17 points. I mean, I take that every time from Jared Allen. He did that last night, but Cleveland wasn't hitting open shots, and Donovan Mitchell lacked that burst. So when you don't have that explosion to collapse the defense, when you're not shooting, it doesn't give Jared Allen a lot of space to even be more impactful in the game. So, yeah, to me, that's my takeaway. The Cavs need more from Donovan Mitchell and their outside shooting, and the New York Knicks is about that action.
Yeah, I mean, you made some great points, but you know, from my major takeaway is what I was saying all along about Donovan Mitchell. Look, you're the guy. You're supposed to be the guy on Cleveland's team, and I mean, look, he said he wasn't hurt. He looked like he was hurt, but he said he wasn't hurt. So I'm gonna go by what he says. He's not hurt. He's moving slow. There's no explosion from him, and then Leo, he just fades for large periods of the game. In game 2, when they needed him the most, he was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. He wasn't even taking shots. And so he's supposed to be the alpha dog on the team. He's not bringing it. And you know, it's sad. And then when you throw it to James Harden, look, first of all, Harden has lost a step. That is clear. Now, he shoots the float. He gets in the lane every now and then. But the old James Harden that would beat you off the dribble and go to the line 9-10 times a game, that James Harden is in the retirement home. He's resting right now. So he's gone. He's a shell of himself, and his jumper is not falling. So when you look at the best 2 players supposedly on that team, and I'll throw Mobley. Mobley's been having a good series. But I'll throw Mobley, and I would like to see Mobley in the post more. He likes to drift around that 3-point line and shoot some threes, but I like to see him in the post more. But Harden and Mitchell, that's the reason they're losing the series. The role players are coming up. Those guys, now they didn't make threes in game 3 like they were shooting in the first 2 games. But when you're not getting anything really from Mitchell and Harden, there's no way you can win the series. And we talked about it on your show, Lil. This was the perfect matchup for the Knicks. They don't stretch you defensively at all. And it's an up and down game where, you know, Cavs are they're going to get hot. Mitchell may get hot for a spell, but then they fall off. And that's what's happening in the series. And it looks like the Knicks are a juggernaut. And the Cavs are just staying there just to get swept. So what are your thoughts? What are your follow-up thoughts on that?
Well, we don't look like a juggernaut. We are a juggernaut. Okay? Let me make that very clear, Mr. Lee. We are a juggernaut. We don't look like it. Okay, we're not actors here. We play real life basketball, and that's what we've been doing this whole entire playoffs. And to me, what I look at the Cavaliers as a defeated team. That game 1, where they was up 22 points with 7.5 minutes left to go in the game. I ain't gonna lie, I threw in the towel. Even though I'm a Knicks fan, I threw in the towel. I'm like, listen, I got work in the morning. Let me catch up on some sleep. And as soon as I was about to go to bed, as soon as the lights was out, night, God said, let there be light. I said, let there be dark. I was getting ready to go to bed. I got a text from my guy, Kenny, you know, and he was like, yo, Jalen Brunson is cooking. So I'm like, why would he send me that when we getting our butts whooped? So I checked the score. I see we was down by 4, and I turned on the TV for some more. And listen, they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't stop us. So after that game, after that comeback, we just took their hearts out. And they just looked defeated. You got Donovan Mitchell after game 3 with a smirk on his face. You know, like it's almost like he's a he's actually working for us right now. I mean, he got a smirk on his face after the game. I mean, James Harden just whoop-de-doo, whistling, whistling Dixie. You don't give a damn. Okay, he really don't. And I'm just looking at a team. Kenny Atkinson, I saw a video of him today talking about, well, analytically, we won 2 out of 3 games.
Look.
These guys are shot. They shot. And
Yeah.
we've been doing that to teams. We did the same thing to Philly. Shot. They're shot, right? We did the same thing with the Hawks. They didn't even know what hit them when they was up 2-1. So we got to give the Knicks some credit.
Yeah, game 1, Mitchell faded again. It's the same playbook. Mitchell fades down the stretch. He's nowhere to be seen. Harden can't score. And those are supposedly your 2 best players. You're not going to win any games like that. And they've choked away this entire series. Game 1, look, you could have. It wasn't a death threat to lose game 1. It was shocking, but you should have won it. You should have came back from game 1 enthused about being up 22 with 7-8 minutes left. We was kicking their butts. So instead of coming back like that, you come back in game 2 and Mitchell is nowhere to be seen. And then at home for game 3, you just really didn't show up. So very disappointed in the Hawks. With the Cavs. But I kind of figured that when we talked about it, the Knicks would win in 5. That's what I thought. And now it looks like a sweep. Hawks ATL 67 says never compare D Mitch to Baby Wade. He ain't that. And he came back up and said the Knicks are just on another level.
Yeah, I don't know who compared him to Dwayne Wade, but
he says the Knicks are on another level. And then he also says that Harden, with the disappearing act, it never fails. I agree. It's the way the Knicks are beating these teams, they're tearing down organizations. All right, we getting into that. Let's roll into that, because one follow-up question, Neil, I really have to ask you is this. And Hawk ATL 678 brought it up. Are the Knicks historically this good, Leo? Or are they benefiting from a weak Eastern Conference? Holla at me.
Yeah, look, we that good. We are dominating the East because we're that good. The Knicks we don't fit the aesthetic of modern super team culture. We don't fit that aesthetic. For a lot of years, the NBA has told y'all that y'all needed super teams. Y'all needed Kevin Durant to go to the 73-win Warriors team. Y'all needed this super team. Y'all needed that super team. And super teams has not proven to be effective when it comes to winning a championship, because outside a LeBron James-led super team, don't even count Golden State, they already won without Kevin Durant, and after Kevin Durant, it's not effective. But still, we don't have that aesthetic. We don't even have 2 of the top 10 players in the league. Right? Brunson is a star. Cat is a very good player. But look, one of the things that we did was we made a polarizing investment into 2 quality, very good wing players, in Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. And I believe that those 2 moves in particular has paid dividends in the playoffs. Yes, we gave up 5 first-round picks. Not popular. Not a popular move. People hated it at that time. People still don't like it today. Right? OG Anunoby, we gave up 2 players in the deal. We gave up homegrown talent for OG Anunoby and RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. But if you look at this series in particular, they have been the underlying factors here. Because look, on paper, exclude what we already know, right? Exclude these 3 games that were played. Let's pretend that we was entering this matchup again from scratch. The Cavaliers and the Knicks match up well together. They have their guard that can score. They got 2 shot creators in James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. They got 2 bigs and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley that had a good playoffs thus far. That literally can match up with our bigs and should probably win the matchup when you think about it. They have depth. We have more depth, yeah, sure. But the difference is the wings. We've been putting built to ass. Mikal Bridges has been doing his thing. Even when the shot is not falling, and it has been falling lately, he still can impact on the defensive end. OG Anunoby, same thing. So we have those 2 guys. Cleveland don't have that. They don't match up well in that department. And that's why I never liked the move to get rid of DeAndre Hunter, because even though they ended up with Dennis Schroeder, and you could argue Dennis Schroeder was what they needed against the Pistons because of that defense. They needed a guy like Dennis Schroeder. You can argue they needed Dennis Schroeder in the Raptors series. They don't need him in this series. he's not making an impact in this series. He only played
No, it's
9
not.
minutes
It's
in
really
game
not. It's
3.
really not.
So they could have used a guy like DeAndre Hunter, thinking bigger picture here. So for me, that's the difference here. So when we come about this, oh, the East is weak. No, it's not. First of all, the Western Conference has always been superior to the Eastern Conference, right? So that's not no big difference here. The reality is the Hawks was 18-2 down the stretch in the regular season. They was up 2-1 in the series. Guess what? BTA, belt to ass. We knocked them out, right? We haven't lost since. Philly, they beat a very good Boston team. Lee was on this show, was on my show. Boston, yeah, they going with the chip. Everybody, Boston, woohoo! Jason Tatum is back. Oh yeah, throw the parade. Guess what? They beat Boston in the 7-game series. They won 3 games on their home floor, and we made easy work out of them. Listen, we beat a team so bad, we questioning like, yo, did they even deserve to be here? Same thing with Cleveland. They beat a 60-win Pistons team, but because we look so dominant, it's hard to believe. People can't even fathom that the Knicks are this good. But guess what? Fathom it. Because guess what? We are about to be in the finals, baby.
Yeah. Now, look, you Nick, y'all are happy. Y'all are really happy doing your dance. I will give the Knicks some credit, though, Leo. Largest point differential, plus 225 in any 10-game winning streak in league history. Right, regular season or playoff. I'll give them credit. Record-winning 10-game streak, 10 consecutive games, a franchise record, and the 10th most. 10 other teams have done that, so great. And then they're closing out teams, right? Only team in NBA history to close out in the closeout game to beat teams by over 30 points. They beat the Hawks by 51, and they beat the 76ers by 30. And then 3-point barrage. Tied an NBA postseason record with 3 points in a quarter, 11, and a franchise record, 25 in a game. So they're balling. They're balling. I give the Knicks a lot of credit. They're balling. But come on, Leo. Look, the East is weak. I mean, you look at the playoff teams. I mean, come on. The East is weak. Philly, you got Joel Embiid down there pulling his leg down the court, one-legged down the court. And it's a shell of himself. Paul George is done. Then you look at the Cavs. I knew the Cavs weren't any good. I mean, I told you it was a wrap if the Knicks played the Cavs. The Pistons would have been a better matchup because defensively they play, but they're gutless. They don't have a number one option really. Cade is you call him that, but Cade fades down the stretch as well. So when you look at the Eastern Conference, I give the Knicks credit for what they're doing because they're putting up historic numbers. I'll give them credit. I just read those off. But if you want to tell me that the competition is the greatest and the highest level, I can't agree with that because I didn't think the Cavs would do anything, and they're not doing anything. And I think the Knicks steamroll into the finals. I will say they're playing great basketball, though. They're playing very well as a team. And they have a closer. They have someone that can get them back in the game, as Jalen Brunson did in that first game. And when there is a time to stop a drought or a run, you got Brunson who can do it. And if you have a player like that, similar to SGA, similar to what Wemby should be doing for the Spurs, you're always in it. So I give them credit for that, Leo.
I mean, look, the Knicks, the goalpost is always going to move. All right. Back in it. Listen, I don't want to give a history lesson here, right? Because I don't. But when we made the OG trade, I knew we won the trade then. A lot of people said we gave up too much. Mikal Bridges, we gave up too much. And arguably, we probably done. Like, I would have loved to get Mikal Bridges for 3 first-round picks instead of 5. So, yeah, I could understand that. But clearly, in the playoffs, especially after that cold streak, he's been worth every single penny thus far as production. Mikal Bridges is balling, okay? Point blank, period. He's knowing when to pick his shots and his spots to be able to be aggressive offensively. He just has a good feel of the game right now on both sides. OG Anunoby, I mentioned him already. Karl Anthony Towns, everybody called it an even trade. It was not. Look at the Timberwolves. They haven't been back since, okay? So, again, we never getting our credits. Jalen Brunson, overpaid when we first signed him. Like, no. Jalen Brunson made the sacrifice for us to be here right now. He took a pay cut, okay? Because he realized that, look, I'm an undersized guard. So I got to think big picture here. if I want to be a champion, which is really more than just getting paid, I'm going to need the roster to be properly built around my skill sets and my faults. So because he took that pay cut, he allowed for us to have OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, 2 quality wings, who was the key difference in this series. So that's why the team is built so perfectly. We went all in for this. This is what we paid for. And we are very versatile. Like I said, game 1, we lost every single department. Rebounding, free throws. We still find a way to win the game. Jalen Brunson took over the fort. Okay, game 2 was a cat show. Okay, we get help from Josh Hart knocking down multiple shots, right? Then we get help from Clarkson. Then we get help from Shamet. Okay, Shamet is out here cooking. We can beat teams in a multitude of ways, and there's not a lot of teams that have that same versatility. So we need our respect.
No, I give you credit. I give you credit and great points. But the Cavs, I mean, you don't leave any NBA player that wide open. I mean, shit. Josh Hart was so wide open. He could dribble, refocus, brush his braids down, and then shoot the ball. He was that wide open. You don't leave people that wide open. So the whole Cavs team to me is just, I mean, it's time for them to get someone that can lead them. LeBron James more in my book would be a great pickup. But you're absolutely right. I like the parts on the Knicks. I like where they're going. It'll be interesting when they get in the Western. I mean, they get in the NBA Finals. When either team, and as Hawk ATL 67, the Spurs and OKC about to beat each other up in the Western Conference Finals, and let that series go 7. I got the Knicks in 6, huh? Okay, you're getting a little bit uppity there, but we'll see. But no, you make great points. And for me, it's like this. Mike Brown doesn't get enough credit for what he's done and how he's pulled the strings behind the scene and you know who he plays, and he has a great feel for who he wants to play in certain situations. So I credit him, and you have to give him Knicks credit. I will say this: you only can beat who's in front of you, and the Knicks have done that. So I think the Knicks are well on their way to making the NBA Finals. Congratulations, Lil. Congratulations, New York. We'll see what happens in the Western Conference.